Hey there, welcome back. So we're going to try this again. This time, hopefully, without me screwing things up by deleting everything. Maybe we could save a little more frequently. Um, the other thing is based on lessons learned. We're not going to play the extended game. That should make it less painful to go through everybody's turn. And I'm going to reduce it to 5 players again. To me, 5 players is the sweet spot. I think six would work. 6 works fine. I think we've done a 5 and a 6 player playthrough, 8 years ago or whenever I started the channel. 3 players is when you play it in person. 3 players is a bit overwhelming because a player will own a whole bunch of companies, and there are scenarios that actually you can get that have lower player counts, and the scenarios are perfect for the lower player count. But a 5 player game to me is the sweet spot. I think a 4 player would be okay. A 5 player is the sweet spot, and 6 is nothing wrong with 6, but you got to definitely manage your money really tight. Um, so the advantage to this is we're going to have less companies in the game, which means that we're going to have less clutter on the board. The operating rounds will go quicker because we're doing 6 less companies. The train counts are reduced because now it's back to the basic. The starting cash is also reduced technically, and because it's 54. It's really funny. You start with $54,000, but the starting cash is 5,400 times the number of or divided by the number of players. So it's basically 10% of the money. Um, is there anything else? Okay, I have these 5. We're gonna shuffle these up, and let's introduce our characters. Character 1 is Rasputin. Um, it's always fun to have a Russian character. In my play group, we always had a guy that played exactly like this Russian character. That's why I think I like him so much, and he always does well. So it's always a good strategy to test yourself against. Um, Player 2, which is more the way I play, Blackbeard the Privateer. We're going to focus on private income, and then we're going to run some premium companies, but we're going to keep all the others cheap. And now that I got all the rust out of my system, I definitely remember my old strategy. I still run some companies premium though. It's just that the you can only invest in so many companies in the beginning of the game, and the ones you can't invest in early, you run them on the cheap. That's my strategy. But I'm trying to maximize and run my companies the best. Next is Lord Platinum. Only the best of everything. So he's going to run everything top of the line. Um, this is very close to the Spiffy Brit from the last game. It's just that I don't want to restrict him only to England. Because to be quite honest, in most multiplayer games, no one's going to let you have both English companies unless you take the 1 and the 2. Wile E. Coyote is going for the fast OE runs. And then the Opposer. I'm going to try to do the opposite strategy of other people. And it's going to try to own 100% of regionals for max cash, not go to major right away. This is close to the Italian strategy that we tried last time, and I promise you, this player will pick up an Italian company if he can. So we're limiting it to 5. Which ones did we get rid of? We got rid of Maverick, which actually did really well in our last game. It's just that Maverick's strategies, any of these players could do the Maverick strategy. But that strategy was good. Having SB and Mav and focusing on this area. We also got rid of the Kaiser. The German companies are very difficult to focus on. Kaiser was actually doing okay. I don't know if he was necessarily winning, So let's think about this. So this one was me. So what do we have? Well, this was the Spanish guy. We had a Spanish only guy. So I sort of merged the Spanish and the French guy to make this one. I'm sorry, this one. So that would count for him. That one was me. This was Maverick. Yeah, and that was the German. So we're going to have to mix those in ourselves. Alright, so I'm going to shuffle a little bit more, and let's figure out turn order. So we got a 2, 5, 3, 1, and 4. Alright, some key things. Last time I did the bid the official way, where we didn't take anything off until after a whole row completed. Because technically, if everybody passes, things do get cheaper. This time around, because I do have a cardinal rule that we just don't try to outbid each other, because it just causes players to lose. The players who don't participate in the bidding war, they're the ones that win. So we're playing that if you bid on something, you get it. So they're going to just take it. We're not going to put any tokens out here to show that they bid on it. I just want to make it clear that that is not what the rules... The rules definitely allow for a bidding war. And I've had plenty of people talk to me and say, hey, if you actually did do bidding wars, you would experience a completely different game because it wouldn't be so efficient. And they're absolutely right. It's just that if you have players, just one player that does not participate in the bidding war, they'll win. Because the early cash gets blown. And that player kept all of his cash. And he could use that cash to just get ahead of you. And if there's any gripe with this game is there's no catch-up mechanism. So you need everybody to be running at top efficiency in order for this to be a competitive game. And that last game, before I ran into the glitch, I thought was very competitive. I actually didn't know who exactly was winning. I had a hunch that I was winning, but I wasn't sure. And that was near the end. So this game is definitely one of those games where, like I said, you get into a bidding war, yeah, fine. When you look at these items here, some of these are clearly more important than the others. Like, they give you a huge advantage in the game. And you're absolutely right. And we always played, in my gaming group, whoever lost the last game gets to go first. So we always gave, the people who weren't very good at the game the chance to get some of the premium ones. And that's just how it worked. But then, you could also shuffle these cards, hand them out this way. In this case, I'm playing all of them. So I know all the strategies. My genuine interest in this is I like trying the different strategies because I don't always know which one is going to win. And I like trying them because it helps me to understand, oh, okay, so this is the problem that player is going to have. Like in that last game, the one with the glitch, I actually think I was winning, but the Russian player had an ability to completely destroy me. And I chose not to do it because it's my game. But if that Russian player, handled that situation differently, they really could have caused 3 of my companies to go belly up for a few rounds. I would have been able to recover, but it would have been, a couple rounds of getting a whole lot less money. And then I wouldn't necessarily be as far ahead as I was. So, I remember those things. And I remember how precarious my strategy hinged on that one decision. So, those are just things that, why do I play this game schizophrenically? It just lets me try all the different strategies, and I've seen other players in real life try these strategies. Like, I'm actually mimicking them, but in some ways I feel like I'm doing a better job than them because sometimes they make boneheaded decisions. I'll give you an example of a boneheaded decision. Somebody took the first turn here, and out of all the companies in the game, they chose Mav as their number 1. Mav is not a bad company, but I promise you, we can pick 10 companies, and MAV is not going to be one of them. But they had a strategy where they needed MAV to be a part of their strategy, but they didn't understand that they could have waited and did something else first, and then came back and got MAV a lot later. So it's just it's a really bizarre way to play, and they make those kind of mistakes. And so then, I like their strategy, but they make these decisions that I just don't think are ideal, and then I just never know. Like, maybe that strategy could have won. And like this Russia guy in my group, I sometimes see him make mistakes, and so it's like I'm trying to play, Russia better than him maybe, and see if it wins. So I can tell you that in my game, I always do try to grab one of the British companies. I see people grab British companies and run them the wrong way, and they don't do well. But there is a right way to run a British company. There really is. And if you run it right, it does extremely well. Sometimes it's the best in the game. So, but that's the thing. Like, not everybody knows, and sometimes it takes practice. The German companies, I think, are more straightforward. They're just challenging. So, like in our last game, the German company that took Amsterdam kept getting hosed because these Y tiles ran out, and there wasn't a Y tile left for him. So what I did in this game is I actually added more Y tiles, so that won't happen. I also added more double whistle stops, so we won't run out of those either. I don't like that aspect of the game where you just run out of tiles, because it's a player order thing. As soon as somebody unlocks the next tech level, right, in the trains, so we go from brown to gray, then it's player order on grabbing these, and people gobble up all the Y tiles, and you don't even get a chance to take your turn, and then you finally get to take your turn, and all the Y tiles are gone. Now, one of the aspects that makes that helps with that is the C company, which I didn't use properly the whole last game. Every time you start a round, you could have the C company could choose to go first, and I never used that. And in fact, I did a poor job of using almost all these minor companies. Like, we never took the discount on mountains, we never took the discount on water, we never added the extra tile points. It was a mistake I made throughout the whole last one. We got to do a better job of that, because using these companies really is a boon. Okay, now with that out of the way, the other thing that we're going to mention is that in the standard game, once we finish the auction and we go to the stock round, while we're waiting for all the companies to float, 6 of these companies will be eliminated from the game. So there's 24 of these. Only 18 of them are going to be in play. And so, like I said, that's going to make the board less cluttered. It's going to make the operating ground go a bit quicker. And the way they get eliminated is when it's your turn, instead of starting a company and floating a company or choosing a location for a miner, you get to choose to eliminate one. And then once 6 of them are eliminated, then that action is no longer available. So it's a strategy. Like, just case in point, if you're trying to do something with London, right, you're going to maybe want to get rid of GSWR because you don't want somebody taking that company. So you remove it, and that makes it so there's less clutter. Another one you can do is in Germany. Sometimes it's good to get, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 companies, but only 3 spots in Berlin. So one of them's not going to get a spot. So what you can do is you can eliminate one of them, and so now you guarantee that he's not going to be in the game, and then that allows you to make sure that you have a spot in Berlin for your train. Now, there's some deep strategies with this, because GSWR is not a great company to run. So if you let it stay in the game, some fool has to take that, and it's not going to do well. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you don't necessarily need to eliminate it immediately. Maybe you still want it out of the game, but it shouldn't be the first priority that you do. Like drafting Mav on turn one. Like there's just certain things you can wait and do it later, and because no one's going to swoop in and take GSWR, no one's going to swoop in and take MIDI. OU maybe, but it's also not a great spot. So there's like these three companies are almost guaranteed to be 3 of the 6 that don't make it into the game. Now, what are the other 3? That's a great question, because there's a lot of great... Every other company in the game is very viable. I know I played MZA in my last game poorly, but even that one's a very viable company. So every company in the game can be great, and but those 3 are agreed upon by just about everybody who's ever played the game to be horrible. Now, you might hear somebody say BJV is also horrible, and I showed you that it isn't. I was able to make BJV work. It just takes a little bit of extra effort. But sometimes you'll see that one go as well. You might see one of the Russian ones go. Germany, for sure, usually has one of them go. Just because it's so expensive to start those companies on top of it. And there's a lot of clutter. But, yeah, anyways. With that said, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do automatic setup again. Bam. Let's take a look. These are always in locations that we never want to go to. That's also in a weird location. This one is going to get scooped up fairly quickly. 2 weird locations. Another one. That one will get scooped up quick. This one will for sure get scooped up quick. Weird location. Yeah, I usually like... There's this one that's down here somewhere. That one's always really good. Okay, so let's get started. Player 1. Oh, one other thing. When we would pay the miners, it always threw an error and only paid half. That is because you should, like if it's purple's turn, we should say, hey, we're purple. And then if you do that and you click pay miners, it works. So it uses whatever the player is. I was playing the whole game as the game master, and that's why it was airing out. So it does work. I don't think I need to do the switching yet, but anyways, that's just important to know. And in a 5-player game, the cert limit is 29, and everybody starts with $1,080. So if you recall, see how that leading zero's there? You got to hit a backspace key. But the problem is if you hit a backspace key and you're not in this, I was accidentally deleting stuff in the game. So that's something I got to be really careful about. But anyways, everybody starts with 1,080. So once I verify I'm in there, I can just hit delete, then it works. Okay. Alright, so player 1 once the fast OE runs. So now it depends on your game group, but the hottest ones in the game are Chin and Plum for my group, because everybody knows that you can do fast OE runs, and a fast OE run then allows it to transition into a national, and it makes great money. It's a really good strategy, and a lot of people, that's the top two. It's also fairly easy to do. Another way to look at it is the British ones are popular because they're very lucrative. But as a first player, what does he want to do? Usually, if you want to be the one that gets plum or chin, you have to take one of these. I just don't know if that's what you want to do right at this very moment. And speaking about everything else, there are 3 premium ones. This L, 1+1, the K, and the D. These 3 are far and away the best 3 miners in the game. They are at a top tier, like they're your S tier. And then, you might have some A, B, C tiers, but these are your 3 S tiers. And then up here, these are situational. They're all good. It just depends on how you want to use it. So it would be a crime to have first overall pick and not take one of these miners. I mean, I know that this is valuable for the strategy of getting plum or chin, but this will not be taken right away. I mean, I guess somebody could. I mean, if they really desperately want to I want to be first overall so I can get the exact company I want, they would take this right away. And if they did, I would cheer because I want the miners. So usually it's these two, or the S, and maybe this is an S minus. And so it just depends on where you want to go. This requires you to go to specific spots, so a K company is a lot safer. And you'll see people take K first every day, twice on Sundays. And so they're going to start off with a $120. Right, so now he's got he's funded and he has 960 left. So there's not a whole lot of money here, but there we go. Grabbing, and also it's not uncommon to think, okay, I got 5 players, and there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 miners. So you're looking at 2 miners per player. So that's where your math starts kicking in. And some players are going to get a 3rd miner. So that's how you got to think about it. But who is player 2? By the way, we got the worst draw. We're going last. Player 2 is Mr. Russia. Oh, what a great... What would he take? Will the L company help the Russian player? Maybe? I mean, an extra 1+1 never hurts.
Did you see that, Josh?
But you know what? The D will actually help him the most. So we're going to take that. I would love to have the L company, personally. I think it's the best early game advantage of them all. This one is one that I usually end up getting because I always end up drafting later in the game. I can make this work really, really well. The L company is just butter. But this one I never get to play because I never get to draft first. But the 3rd player is Lord Platinum, and the L company is perfect for him. Gonna move this out of the way. Yeah, that's a great company. Alright, fourth player. The Opposer. Now this is going to be interesting. What would he take? I have to think about his strategy, the kinds of things he wants to do. This is a really good one for that type of player, because that type of player likes to take Italy companies. And see, this is a crappy city. But if he could put the harbor thing in, it allows him to use the ferry so he could go through that city without having to count it. So then he can take this ferry over and I mean, it does get a little weird because now you're... So you can do that without counting it. And you get here, but then you got to go through another one to come into Constantinople. And then there's yet another one there. So there's a whole bunch of crappy cities in your way. Now, the other way you could do it is you could come use the port. And see, this is no good because there's a city you'd have to go through here. But if you use the port, you're in this sea zone. You could actually land... Well, that's no good. Let me think about this. We've tried so hard to make this work. Constantinople is in this sea zone. You can see it right here. So all you have to do... So this sea zone's free. You just have to be able to hop one more. And then you get a Constantinople run. You know, coming through here. You could just as easily do that from Naples, though. It's just as far away. So I'm trying to think of what was the advantage. I mean, I have for sure seen people use this. Maybe if they put it there, so then they can hop across. But again, I don't see the advantage. You could just as easily go around. I've seen people try. I don't think... one of the better uses for it was when we used it for OU here. To hop to London. That was a good use. Very good use, in fact. You could even use it like... Is there a way to come in... You know... Oh, another great spot is over here. To come into Russia. So you can leave a port, come into Russia here, so this token will make it so you don't have to pay the price here, and you don't have to count that city. So you can go, you know, if you're coming from Britain or even from Scandinavia, you can then come into here and then join the Russian network, and it lets you bypass having to go across. And into here, which could be cluttered. That's another point. I looked at my physical copy. This is actually water like this. In the game, there is no place to put a track. The red barriers exist because this is actual water. And then St. Petersburg is on the water. So I don't know why they made it so this is actually a place you can lay track. This game board is a pre-production board. It doesn't match the production board perfectly. It's close. Close enough, I guess. Alright, so why am I mentioning that? Because I'm just looking at possibly picking up a private. The 3 best miners are taken. So then it's like, you know, what would I want? Maybe a private would help. This one lets you do upgrades, but just not in cities. That lets you do turn order, 2 extra tile points in every operating round, mountain discount, water discount, discount on locomotives, and then you get to skip one per OR, but then in tile 7 and 8 it's 2 per OR. And that, that's an above and beyond what your train station does. Obviously, the H company itself has its own train station, but once it's merged with the company, that can be really good as well. Oh, I'm struggling. Bear with me here. What would this player do? What would they take? I know what I would take. I'm wondering what they would take. They would take this one.
I can't invite you.
That's what they would do. So this is a I'll put it on here. So they're basically taking a private company. This is the Mining and Lumber, and this will allow them to put down a special whistle stop that'll get them extra revenue. It's a really good one. It costs $80 and it'll give them 20 in revenue every time they collect money. So we're just going to spend 80 bucks. Alright, now it's to us. What would we do? Well, we're going to try to maximize our income here. The mountain ones are never horrible. This one, as I pointed out, is very handy. But the hardest part is you take it first, and then it's like, now you got to take your companies later. Now this one will get us 25 bucks in revenue. It's a big investment early. It's not bad at all. The free token one never hurts. Some of these, once you use it, the company goes away. Or do we take a miner? Out of all the miners, this is the one I like the most. Maybe these two. Sure, we'll take this one. This one never hurts. And because of the turn order, this is what fell to me, right? And since it fell to me, like it did, it's changing my strategy. Like, I started the game thinking, you know what, maybe I want to do a British company. And now, because I have these free mountains, I may not want to do British. The free mountains lets me go through stuff like this. The free mountains lets me go through stuff like this. So there might be, a change to what I want to do and where I want to go. Oh, forgot. I gotta spend 100. Alright, back to player 1. So they have a miner. They want to do fast OE runs. Yeah, they want this. And that costs 30 bucks.
So I would go over my faction. How do I go over my faction?
Player 2, the Russian for all.
I look back and
Now, I forgot to do this last time, and I need to not forget anymore. But a great one for Russia is the 2 extra tile points. Because if you'll notice, there's a lot of tiles you gotta lay. And that was a big mistake when I played him last time. But he definitely wants this. So he's gonna spend 120 more. So now he's got 2 miners. 3. Best of everything. That's how you get the best of everything. So that costs him 20. 4. Alright, so he took that. This is a great question. What would he take? I'm leaning towards this one. This one's not a bad one either. Because it's about maximizing cash. This one. Yeah, he would take this one.
There we go.
Okay, now it's back to us. Well, sticking with our mantra, let's take another private. Almost all of them are available.
I have forts down everywhere.
This is an interesting one. It sort of locks you in. But actually, I do like this one. So let's grab that one. Well, no. So why do I like it? Keeps the ferry open. What stinks about the ferry, then you have to always count that city. Because you're going to count this city and then this city. But it's a perfect way to go into London. And you always keep, this is always going to be open to you. The other way, though, is I like this because that lets me go into London as well. And then I don't have to count that city at all. So it makes me wonder, I almost like the hop better. I should probably think about a miner too. But sticking with my... You know what? I do. I like the Star Harbor. I can usually make that work somehow. So let me zoom out a little bit so I can scroll quicker. Now there is something somebody taught me, and I need to test it out. Okay, so we're going to make this Control 1. This is Control 2. This is Control 3. This is Control 4. This is Control 5. That's Control 6. Control 7. Alright, so if I hit 1, 2.
If they declare war on me, then
So how about if I hit Alt 1? No. So if I hit 1, 2, or is it Shift 1? Yeah. Shift 1, Shift 2, Shift 3, Shift 4.
it should be okay.
That's what. So right now we're on Shift 4. His turn.
Well, we're not at war with that.
Wile E. Coyote. He's going to take the third.
To be honest, if you declare war on Greece, and I
It's another 20 bucks. Then Mr. Russian gonna take the fourth. For 10 bucks. And Lord Platinum will take the fifth. $10. He's going to do the opposite. He is going to take this one. I should have tested that out instead of scrolling. Holding down the shift key is a little awkward. Now it's to us. And we still don't have a miner. We took 2 of those. But we're trying to stick true to form. Like we're trying to keep our income going. And I was debating before, but now we'll do this one. So I'm going to do shift 2. There we go. Alright, so that one costs 60. And the other one costs 60. So I forgot to pay for the last one. Alright, so we got 3 of them. Now, as much as I want to maximize this, privateer thing, we need to start getting something else. I mean, it's not the sole strategy. Okay, so now we're back to player 1 though, and he is the Wile E. Coyote. He is going first. Whoa. Second and third and fifth. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he wants to go. Oh, I think I know what I did. I put this on the wrong player. Okay, how much do we start with? 1,080. We gotta do some math here. So he had 1,080. He paid 120 for his miner. That puts him to 960, and then he paid 30 to go first. And he never paid for this, which is 20. So we gotta pay 20. Now he'll take this one. For 10. And then this one overpaid. Because I took the 30 out of his bucket. So give him his 30 back. Alright, Mr. Russian. These are free. Then we got the best of everything. Mr. Opposite. Okay, that costs 40. And then our turn, we are going to grab one. And then the first player see, he's got 3 of them. He should be okay there. Gonna grab a miner.
Why isn't your money going?
Yeah, that's my exact question too.
Okay, Mr. Russian. He will take the last one.
So Josh, I'm gonna trade this.
And then we get to
Nice to
Lord Platinum.
That's actually crazy.
He wants the best of everything. That costs as much as a whole miner. So sometimes a player who does this will just take one less miner than everybody else.
That's 127.
Okay, Mr. Opposite. Being able to go first is actually a good option. I just got to remember to do it for him.
I think Johnny's gonna attack me, so if I'm gonna attack that.
Sorry, just thinking. Yeah, now it's to us. Okay, we got the 3 privates. We haven't taken any miners. I do want to grab this one. That's one that I do like. It's... When did I pay 120 bucks? Oh, I did both of these. That's right. It's arguable whether this would have lasted this long. Some games this one gets scooped up really quick. But I will tell you, other games, people don't take the premium ones and they go for this stuff, and then I can swoop in and get it even though I'm going 4th or 5th. So it just all changes. It's really hard when you're the one making the decisions. Like what I value, I'm valuing it the same no matter who the player is, and I'm trying to intentionally not value something to fit the strategies. So getting to this guy, he has no privates. So at this point, he really would just take this one. Because that at least gives him some income. And player 2 would take the other one for the same reason. Then we get to player 3. Alright, they're low on money. They don't need that. That's usually not their jam. I'm thinking. I'm just not sure. Can they afford to start another miner, considering they paid 120 for this? The miners do get them money. And having miners is not the worst thing in the game. But they do need a lot of money to start their companies if they want to start.
Okay, Josh. It's not good right now. They're just
So,
winning.
yeah, let's do some quick math here. To start a premium company, you're looking at Here, let me try it out. Shift 6. You're looking at $90 a share, or 180. So he has 820. So if I do 820 divided by 180, he can start 4.5 companies. So 180 times 4 is 720. So he only has $100 to spend, right? So if you do that math, if he wants to start 4 companies, now let's do that math. We're talking that there's 24 total, 18 will float. There's 5 players, so that means most players are going to have 3 companies, and some will have a 4th. So right now he's looking at starting 4. If he keeps all this money, he can start 4. So would he rather start 4 majors, or he's going to start 3 majors and have 2 minors? That's the question. It's a good question. So yeah, 720 is for 4 premium companies. And he'll have 100 left over. Like, he would have... I mean, he could take this. At $60. Yeah, he will. He'll take this. So there, he spends 60. So he's just going to have 1 company, but now he's got, yeah, that works out for him pretty well. Okay, now we go to Mr. Opposite. So here you can see he's not starting 4 premium companies. He's already below the 720 mark, but he doesn't want another minor either, so he's passing. Then we go to us, and we spent so much money. But we don't need to start 4 premiums. How much did he have? He had 680. So he's got quite a bit less than us. And look, he's got a whole bunch. And we have 4 of these that need to be taken. I mean, technically they're in this order.
I'm actually able to include supremacy here. I think would be good.
We definitely want a second minor. So I don't think I would have hesitated too much here. This one's the more complicated one. The best use for him is, if you recall from the last game, we laid a lot of track and we bypassed cities. So in order to bypass cities, you had to spend track points to upgrade tiles. And the ultimate bypasser is Orange Scroll Surveyors, because it normally costs 2 points to upgrade, and he reduces it by 1, or to 1 point. So it only costs you 1 point to upgrade track. It's really powerful. You got to remember to use it. And yeah, I'll take that one. So I'm going to spend 120 more. They'll take 120. I'm low on money, so if we're looking at having 620, let's say I want to start 2 premium companies. So I would subtract 180, subtract 180, I'm at 260, then I divide that by $60 companies, which is 120. I can have 2. So I can have 2 premiums and 2 cheap. That's perfect. That's actually, this is right where I want to be. 2 premiums, 2 cheap. So let's go to player one. He's got his two companies. He's got a lot. He's at 760. I mean, I'm all the way down to 620 and I could still do 4 companies. We did say somebody's going to have 3 of these. Trying to look at the situation. Man, this is going to be tight for him, but he'll do E. I mean, he's not... I mean, he still has more money than we do. So he's fine. And for that reason, I think he's going to take a third. Because he's swimming in money right now. Although he needs it for his shares. If he's doing Russia, the water company actually would have been very helpful for him. As you can see, there's tons of it. And even down here, there's tons of it. So why did I want the water company? I wanted it because I was looking at this one little tile to use it. You can put E here and then connect to Casablanca. I mean, is it worth it just to do that? I mean, if you think about it, an E would help with all the mountains just as much. I mean, I don't need to help the Russia guy yet. I'm just trying to decide, because he's definitely trying to take Chin. So he's going to have some Spain. And also remember, you can put a miner over here. So that way he now has a Russian presence. So he's not just... That's not horrible. Yeah, he can do that. And so then this guy can do, for the same reason, this one. So then we get to the Brit. Yeah, we already determined he can't spend anymore. He's passing. Then we get to him. He has 2. He's down to 680. Wow, this is getting crazy. I think he wants to pass. Then it gets to us. We want to pass. It gets to him. He already has 3. He wants to pass. Gets to him. He wants to pass. And the Brit wants to pass. So then what happens is this is now $5 cheaper. Or, to do this properly, it's going to start with $5. And then we keep bidding. So we keep bidding until somebody's willing to take it. I can tell you, because we bought this, he has only $40 to spare. So he will not buy, even though he's holding on to just one miner. He won't buy until this thing only costs him $40. It's 120. Right now it's 115. So it's a lot of passing. So I'm just looking at where's the threshold that somebody would jump in. A third miner for him. It's not ideal. me do some math here.
Yeah.
680 minus 120 divided by 180. He would still be able to have 3 premium companies. And all 3 of them don't have to be premium for him.
A bunch in the Alpine. I'm just trying
They truly don't. He doesn't need to have 3 premium companies. So
using them.
the fact that he could do at least 3. Alright, so we're going to assume that it passed enough times that there's now 15 more. So it's $20. So it only costs him 100. So he'll take it at 100. Okay, so that ends the bidding phase, and now we go to the floating phase, which is the first stock market. And just a reminder, at this phase, we can't buy shares of other companies or even our own. The only thing you can do is float a company, which means you're paying a par price, which is here. You pick any of these 6 par prices, and you have to buy a president share, which is a double or 2 shares for 1 certificate. So that's why I was using the 180 number or the 120. That's the range. You're paying between 120 to 180 to float one of these 24 companies. So that's choice 1. Choice 2 is to eliminate one of these companies. And we can do that up to 6 times. And then once 6 times are done, then that is no longer an action. And then choice 3 is you can take one of your miners and place it on the board. And then also bear in mind that when you place a miner, you have to pay for track rights. And there's only 2 track rights in each region. And this particular region, they're called the premium regions. Once 4 of these are taken, the other 2, no matter where they are out of the game. So even though it shows 6 track rights, only 4 of them can be taken. Okay, and then the game begins by doing these. So whoever gets those, and then these cards will dictate turn order. And then once the last person passes, allowing us to go into the first operating round, we then use this and then turn order is just clockwise from that point forward. So we'll start here. He gets to go first, and a very common one in the games I play is Plum. Plum is taken first almost always. It's a very valuable company. So he's going to take Plum. Spend 180. Put 180 in. And then what that means is this is going to go right here. And then this goes here because that was the first taken. And the Plum token, I'm going to flip it around. I like the other side better. And then that goes here. Okay, then we go for player 2, which is this guy. And no surprise or shocker, he's going to take GWR. That is a great company for him. Pay 180. That goes on. like so.
They're kind of not final one. What do we need?
Now, just to be super clear, when we play our multiplayer game, um, sometimes we deduct the money and just do this right away. Now, the first round, they don't actually start with their train, but we do it just for the administrative purposes. But I did forget to pay for the track rights. So track rights is 20 on this one.
Oh, Josh, you just made a huge insertion.
So it starts with
France.
slightly less money. Those two. And then these guys will pay their track rights once we figure out what region they're going to start in. Alright, that was 2. Who has 3? I think he does. He does. So with number 3 in the draft, he is taking Chin. Again, not a huge surprise. Other than I can't find Chin. This one does go quickly. In all my games. And between Chin and Maz, Chin is definitely the premium one. Alright, so that goes there, and then his track rates is $10. So he's gonna just get
Players for goodness.
170. Spend 180 more. And I gotta be careful here. I can't do another 180. If I do, I can only buy 3 companies. Which, maybe that's all he wants, is 3. But I think he's going to have to go cheap and do $120. And then he can actually go, and he can eventually get 4 companies. That is ideally what he would prefer to do. Okay, so that was 3. Who has 4? This guy does. And it may come as no surprise to you. He's taking MKV. I need to do some math on this one. So at premium, he can take 3 companies. At non-premium, he can take 5 companies. Well, Russia was China before China became China. So they are cheap. And bear with me a second. 180. Okay, I've been spending 180 like I should. He's going to spend just 120. Track rates are only $10. So 110 does make it into the company. So MKV is next. And he's going to get funded for cheap.
I just destroyed 30.
Sorry, still trying to think this through. I screwed up my camera already. Okay, number 4. Or he was 4. Number 5. Is Lord Platinum. And I said he would only take premiums. He can actually take the lawnmower and do the British strategy. He really could. But he's not. He's going to take... He's going to take DSJ. I think this is a very smart move for him to do. But as always, it's going to be a premium. And track rates are only $10, so DSJ is going to get to keep 170 of it. Alright, yeah, that was a good move. So, who's 6? Alright, so this guy is now 6th.
I can't even trade with my own conflict.
What are we doing here? I haven't thought this far ahead.
Josh, is he
He is currently France and Spain focused. And as much as it might be nice for him to have stuff over here, I don't know.
Game's not moving.
When you start getting into those big 5+5 trains, like maybe you want more than just France and Spain because, you know,
Unlikely. I have 1,000
you go to Constantinople, you hit here, and then there's not much else where to go. I mean, he can take another company, or he can still remove a company. He can start a miner. Let me think about this. These are very flexible miners. He doesn't have to put them in a particular spot at all. Well, if he's planning on starting 4 companies, he should probably take another.
Just kidding, I'm not moving anyone.
So which one would he take? I mean, lawnmower is available.
I'm moving now.
Is that what he wants? I'm going to say no. That's not what he wants. He wants Bell for his strategy. Alright, and then Bell goes up. But Bell's going to be on the cheap. So Bell's going to start with $100. Alright, number 7. This guy is very predictable. We know what he's going to do. He's taking MSP next. For 120. Then we have number 8. That is Lord Platinum. Now this is where it gets interesting. Lawnmower is still available. And I keep mentioning it just because it's important, but he's actually not doing that. What he wants to do instead is he wants to guarantee that L goes here. That's what's important to him. So L is going to get a expensive one. It's going to cost 40. And he is going to need money to cover this because he needs $100 for a train. So he's $20 short. And then this is 30 more, so he's $50 short. If I did my math right, he's going to have $40 left over and make 15 from this one. So he'll have just enough to cover L. But it's still a good move. That's what he wants. He does not necessarily want lawnmower. We're going to try something different from last time. These two are premium. His third premium, which he could have taken, is going to be BHB. So he's going to go for a German company, because German engineering. But let's go ahead and go to number 4 here. I'm sorry. Now we're going to 9, which is us, because we snagged one. Alright. We will be the one that takes lawnmower. And I didn't do that intentionally. I didn't say, hey, I'm going to make the British player not take lawnmower so I can take it. I actually wanted DSJ at the beginning of the game. But how am I adjusting? Well, I have this, which lawnmower may not take advantage of, but these here do change my strategy to be, I want to get SB and Maverick. I just know that no one else is going to take those. It's the whole don't draft a punter or a kicker in the first round of draft. Now this, I think lawnmower can take advantage of because I want to use the harbor maybe to land at Amsterdam, and a Y City is good, but I want to be able to skip a Y City
I can't trade with my own bucket.
and just do premium cities, right? And so I could use my Star Harbor to skip something like that. Or I can use my Star Harbor to go from London and land here. That's the point. Is I can do a lot of things. So we are gonna grab lawnmower. It is definitely a great. I brought it up 100 times. How good it is. And you absolutely must make that one a premium. Or otherwise it's not going to have enough money to run. Because it's got a $40 track rights. So it's going to be definitely one of our premium companies. And then we were 9, and then this is number 10. And don't be surprised. He's going to take another Russian company. LRZD. Spend 120. Take 110. There you have it. His strategy's working really well. I like our start. I'm still nervous. This one, I'm trying, and I shouldn't keep it a secret from you. The reason I don't need lawnmower is because I have L. Lawnmower operates in this area, but so does L. So the best strategy when you have the L company is put it here, and then take another company like BHB, or heck, even MAV, and then merge it with L. So now MAV all of a sudden has those tokens in London and up here, and so then MAV can do a run that goes, or a Russian company can do that, right? And then a Russian company can do a run that goes all the way through. Because Russian tiles are all the way at London, this allows them to use the ferry, and then, from there, if this is all connected, they can just hammer all the way down. So there's some pretty cool strategies you can do, but L is your, it allows some other company to take those spots. So if you have L and lawnmower both in the same spot, then it sort of defeats the purpose. Because lawnmower is going to put a token here too, possibly. And then it's like, okay, who am I going to merge L with? Well, neither of them really need it. And the tokens don't really help you. The 1+1 is always helpful, but anyways, hopefully you get the gist. So DSJ is his version of this. So DSJ is going to be here, right? He's operating in this area. So DSJ now has tokens that will connect him to London if I merge L with DSJ. So that's the reason why he did that. And I'm forgetting to grab stuff and MSP. Okay, we've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh crap, who was after MSP? Bell. I know lawnmower and lizard. He hasn't started any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm missing one. Oh, we started L. I think L was next. Then lawnmower for a premium. And then lizard for cheap. Yeah. Okay. I gotta not forget that. So now we're finished with what's called the concession phase. I think it's crazy that they call it a phase, but all it is you just do the concessions until they're up, and now you go back to regular turn order. So this guy gets to go first again. He does want one more company, and this is a chance for him to snag one. My apologies, I'm thinking. So he's going to do something interesting. He's going to eliminate the first company of the game, and he's going to eliminate RCP. And this does happen often. Not because RCP isn't any good, but his strategy is he wants to put a miner here. And you can't put a miner there if RCP starts there. But if you eliminate RCP, now you can put a miner there. It can backfire because if he eliminates RCP, somebody else could swoop in and take RCP. Or put their miner in that location. But he's banking on the fact that everybody still wants to claim their companies. And he already has 3 of them claimed. So now we go to 2. He can take the 4th Russian. It's a little bit of a stretch. Because he also has 3 miners. But you know what? That's his strategy. It's Russian domination for all. So we'll spend 120 more. And you can take WW. Now it's not uncommon for the Russian player to take DSJ. Because they want to do the same thing. They want to come and do this and maybe even have the L company, right? And then they just basically, their train runs are basically like an umbrella that just goes along the edge of the board. And all their trains are doing some version of that. It's not a bad strategy. Okay, so WW goes on the board. It's another... Here, these are the cheapos. And these are the rich ones. And we'll just keep track of who's not. Who's in any of the other ones. And then we said RCP is out. And my eyesight's bad. Okay. So that's player 1, player 2, player 3. Lord Platinum. He needs at least one more company. So he's going to spend 180 and grab a premium. Now what would that be, given what's left? Oh, I'm sorry, BHB. He absolutely, that's without passing go, without collecting $200. BHB for sure. Just another premium. So then we get to this guy. He sees the RCP open up. He doesn't want it. That's not his jam. What is his jam? To be honest, he probably wants SB. Even though I want SB. He probably wants SB. Let's go through them. He also wants the Italian companies. You know what? He's going to lock in the Italian company first. Uh-oh, something happened. Okay, I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff. I'm forgetting to put that there. I'm forgetting... Man, I just remembered what I was forgetting. I'm forgetting to take the president's share. But we can do that after we're done. So, this is his Italian company. He's going to spend 180. Track rights. Give the company 170. And then boom. Okay. So that's number 1. Or then it gets to us. And yeah, we're taking SB. I actually really like BJB in this situation, but I think SB is the better play for us. So now that is also going to be a premium. It doesn't have to be. I'm going to give myself $60 back. SB I can start for 120. And here you can see we'll have $100 after track rates. Back to player 1. He's got $160. He can start one more company. He already eliminated one. And he's going to start MZA. So he's basically the French and Spanish expert. We're gonna go cheap. Oh, he doesn't get 120, he gets 110. And I got a little ahead of myself here. So after BHB, that was player 3. SFAI came next, and it was a premium. And then MZA came after that, and it was a low ball. That is correct. Okay, that was player 1. So he's got everything. He's going to be placing his miners and doing other stuff, but... And actually, he didn't need to take this. He should have placed his miner. Actually, I'm going to retcon. I'm going to take MZA off the board. I have a feeling no one else is going to take MZA, but... and I'll leave his money down for now. But what he wants to do is exactly what I said he would do. He freed up RCP's area, and he's going to put E right there. So then he can connect down to here.
Okay, well, I just...
Yeah, that's exactly what he wants to do. Perfect plan for him. So E takes MZA's spot. So now we go to player 2. Alright, 4 Russian companies started. He's not starting anymore. He could try to eliminate a company, but to be honest, there's really nothing interfering with him over here. One strategy he could have done, like if he went premium, he would have eliminated the other Russian company, but he chose not to do that. So, of these, this one makes the most sense for maximum income. And I need to pay attention. It can be placed in any city except a metropolis or a red zone. So let's look at Russia. This is a very valuable one. This one's average, and that one's average. Same with this one. So, is there any place that we want to hit as we're trying to work our way to Constantinople? And the Russian player, the last game, we went this way and joined up with other tracks that went here. The Russian player could literally just plow bing, bing, bing and get straight to there. They could. And if that's the case, they're going through this Y city and they can put, you know, a premium on it. But here's a spot for a premium as well. While I'm here. And remember, that premium's only going to belong to one train. All the trains aren't going to share. So then it becomes, okay, where do I put a miner that will eventually merge with a Russian company, and that particular city can get them revenue as they're doing their Russian thing running to here. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to start it over here, for example. And even if you want a Russian company to be over here, that's still not a good spot to start it either. Or even like a Lily. It would actually be, that's a perfect spot. Because I always tell you, this ferry's nice, but this city becomes a drain because it doesn't give you a good revenue. Well, if you put that D miner there, then this city is always going to make you positive money. Wow, that's actually an interesting idea. And then one of the Russian companies could be going from London through. Yeah, that's a great idea. So let's do the D company in Lily. And then we're going to take one of these track rights for 20 bucks. Spend the money. And this is going to go, I can already tell you with certainty, it's going to go right on Lily. Now, a perfect situation is that this would be, yeah, anyways, this works really well. It makes that Y city very valuable. Okay, 2 is done. Now we're to the premium guy. I can afford one more premium. I don't know if I want to, though. So here's the deal. Premium guy wants the best of everything, and that means he has to invest in his companies by pouring cash into them. But you know what? This is a perfect opportunity for him to get rid of GSWR. So there's less battles in London for tokens. Yeah, he'll do that. GSWR is peasant class, so they need to be removed. So 2 companies out of the game. Then it goes to 4. This is a no-brainer for them. They're going to grab the other Italian company. They specifically chose miners that it doesn't matter where they start. Like, these aren't location-dependent miners. So that's what I mean by the opposer. He's going to be flexible. He can go wherever everybody else is not going. That's what he's going to choose to do. But these are key to his strategy. So he definitely needs 2 premium companies. Take the money. And done. So then back to us. We took 2 companies already. I'm looking at our situation. This H company, a great spot is right here, which was already taken. Another great spot for the H company is here. Because a token here erases this, and then the H could erase both of those. So it basically counts as a C token. But my experience with the H company is it's best used to connect to America. So you want something that's like up here, usually. And we have lawnmower, so we're already up there. So how can we maximize that? Well, we can put it on Liverpool. It's a strange spot, to be quite honest. With the port, the H company can do New York, and then you come in, keep going. I don't know if that's the best use for it. We can try something in here. Again, not sure, but it might work, because then I can have lawnmower go up to here and then keep going. But I'd have to put it on one of these strange spots, like here. It works from the perspective because you lay some track and then you get a marker up here, and now that H company is running from up here the whole time. And if you're the H company, you can use this to get to St. Petersburg with no issue. Because of this, you don't even have to have a token in St. Petersburg. There's some flexibility. St. Petersburg is going to be full because he took all 4 Russian companies, so it's going to be hard to go through St. Petersburg. But with the H company, you could still take this port and land here and keep going, and then just bypass St. Petersburg. That's a possibility. You know, what's our private companies? Yeah, because we have the Star Harbor, right? So we can, use the H company, land at Riga, and do the strategy, so that allows Lawnmower to have its path to get to here. Not a bad strategy at all, but to be quite honest, if I'm going to do Star Harbor, I'm going to just put it right here in Hamburg, and then go straight across. So that's an argument for the H company to go right there. So we're in a perfect spot in Amsterdam. We can take a train 1, 2 up to here, 1, 2 to there, and then also go to there. The problem is we have to pay $40 track rights, which is going to be expensive. I did make it so the Y tiles aren't as restricted, so that part helps us. I do want other companies. We have two cheap French companies. This is the only cheap company left. Well, BJV is cheap. This is an interesting dilemma.
How are they not capped?
H company works really well down here too. And we did this last time.
There's no way I have to take president.
If I could start here, H would be great. But I can't. I can't start on Metropolis. The token here, this is free, and then H cancels this, so you can easily get to Constantinople. And again, that's the reason why this one is a nice candidate for H. Sorry I'm thinking so much, but wherever I put this, it's going to greatly dictate my strategy. Of not only where the H is going, but like what company do I want it to merge with and why. I mean, this is even a spot, right? It's going to cost to upgrade this Königsberg, but this gets canceled. You can move up to here. You can land here. The H company can even get you. Let's see. You can even land in Edinburgh or up here. I do like this one the most for H. That $45 is expensive, but you don't have to pay it until later. These would be nice because you can connect to New York, but they're crappy cities. This was a great spot for H. It got taken. Curse you. Then the only thing that's making me balk at the moment is the $40 track right. Sort of stinks. The cheaper ones are better. But I'll be honest, other than here, there is no cheap one left. This is the only spot.
I have a bunch of coal that you can get.
I can't go in red zones. Oh, I can't go there. Oh, hold on. I think I can go in red Y zones. You have to be able to. We've been playing this way. So yes, you could go here with the H. That'd be a weird spot to go. But it would work, because this port would then be free. Alright, let's not deliberate this too much. I'm going to take the H company,
What else am I supposed to take?
or I'm going to take MAV. That's my other option, right? Because I do need a third company. And I could take MAV before somebody else takes MAV. My concern is H only has certain places it wants to go. And I want to grab that before somebody else grabs it. I mean, if I put like an H company here, I can use it as a basis to jump and get to Constantinople in a weird way. Or even to get to this. Here's my other. I like BJV, so I'm okay with taking that. The German companies are going to be expensive, but I'm okay with taking them. So I guess I'm not concerned if somebody takes MAV. I already have SB. So yes, sorry for the long deliberation, but all of that is to say we're going to put H right here in Amsterdam. That's a good location.
Dude, I cannot.
Was D really the last one?
I can't.
No. What did they do? Oh, they bought a company. That's right. Which is why it wasn't the last one.
Not you.
SFR.
Frick all y'all.
Another Primo.
Josh, I don't have enough of it.
And then H. Okay, now we're to player one.
Can you trade the Swede for
We have 2 more miners to place.
something?
Oh, yeah. We're grabbing that MZA, which we talked about before. I was like, why does he have no money? Because we already paid the MZA. So there we go. That's his turn. He's taking the MZA, and it's going to be on the cheap. Okay, player 2. So we're to Russia. We placed the D company. This one needs to be in Russia, or otherwise it's not helpful at all. So the G company is for sure coming out. I put it here last time, but I didn't like the fact that I got to the point where I couldn't lay more track. So I'm actually going to put it down here and put G. Now it is going to be expensive to get out, but once he does, he can lay a lot of track. And of course the Russian track rights going to be 20 bucks. 10 bucks. So he at least has a little bit, he has 10 extra dollars to go towards that. Okay, player 3. We're talking premium here. 1, 2, 3. We could do another German company. German would be premium. We can also start getting rid of more companies. We still have 4 more to go. We took BHB. Oh. I gotta grab this. It goes on H. He's gonna be short on money. This is the big dilemma. Do I run with 3 and just keep them premium? If I get a 4th premium, I have the money. Then I'll have $40 left over. But that means I can't buy shares of my companies. At least not easily. And with them being all premium, they're all going to be expensive shares. So in some ways you want to hold on to some money so you can afford shares. So he's either going to start eliminating companies, or he's going to buy 1 more. And the German companies are a great idea. He doesn't care about the French being in the game, but he might want to get rid of a German company because that allows BHB to have some breathing room. And maybe while he's debating this, he will get rid of one of them. And he's going to get rid of KBS. He doesn't like this one being in the game. So KPS is going to get the axe. Kibbles and Bits
Well, you can either go.
is out.
You can allies now. That means I gotta seriously get my. Oh gosh.
So hold on a second. G needs to go on the board. Alright, Kibbles and Bits and out. Then we go to 4. He wants at least one more company. Or is he going to make these two work? He's going to make these two work. He's actually not going to go for another. So then we got to figure out where the miners are going to go. And he just wants to go wherever. Like, this is a good spot. So yeah, one of his miners is going to go there. Which one? We'll put C. There. And that's going to take this. That means these two track rights are gone. The fourth one is now taken. Spend the $20. This is the turn order token, which we never used the whole last game. My apologies.
Yeah.
Okay, so C goes on the board. Now it's to us. We can afford probably even 2 more companies. We put 1 miner down. We got another miner to go. How do I want to do this? We have lawnmower. We have SB. We took this. Yeah, we're going to start B. And because we're running out of tokens, we could go over here. But I want to go right here. That's a nice Y city. It's good revenue. Also, there's some extra revenue opportunities if we wanted. And the track rights can't be beat at $20. Alright, so now we're back to player 1.
Are you ready?
Oh, hold on. B goes out. Player 1 still has 1 more miner to place. Actually has 2 more. What's going on? I grabbed the wrong one for E. So he's got 2 miners to place. He can start eliminating people. I don't think he needs to do that yet. This should have been on E. My apologies. Do we want another one in Spain? Not always. Not always. The French are taken. There's 2 spots in Italy that might be nice.
I don't have any manpower.
Friends is the, well, other than this $30 penalty, Friends is a nice spot. There's not another good spot here. I mean, you got crappier choices all around, but you can do it. Russia still has another spot. What some people like to do is they start right here, and then the very first thing they do is put a token in Moscow, and then they just work and operate out of Moscow. Not a bad idea. The other one they do is just start there, and then they have the ferry, so this is an automatic run for them. Now, does he want to be all the way up there? He's got 2 French companies and 2 Spanish companies. Being all the way up there. The Italy ones make more sense for them from a, train perspective. Germany's out. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm just putting myself in his shoes. If I were to look at like what's the best spot in the game right now for a miner, it's here, or to do this trick, where you immediately place in Moscow. Bar none, that's the best spot right now that's available. Does the Spanish company want to be all the way up there? I mean, maybe. It'll help them to do a run. It's like MZA here can't do a run as easily as him unless MZA puts a token there. Well, now that we eliminated RCP, MZA can put a token there. And both of them could run from Madrid straight on. They can basically both do the exact same strategy. But I can merge MZA with something up here, and now he's got a nice 5+5 run or whatever he needs to do. It would work. And even though we have another spot for a miner in Spain, where would it go? We tried this. That was not a good idea. I mean, we have this. It would work. I mean, I was planning on doing it with him. You know what, we're going to... And he also has to put the K company somewhere too, but we're going to go ahead and put J. We are going to take this with J. So that takes the last track right. It probably won't be there by the time he gets another turn. That means J is on the board. Okay, player 2. So we've done 2 of the miners. He's got one more. The mountain miner.
Okay, well, Josh, I don't know
And
why, but
he
I have
does want to play
flag
it.
carriers,
So I'm trying to figure out
What?
we'll figure out
where.
what we can do with that.
Now, this is a mountain one, so he can plow through mountains fairly easy. Let me put it here so I don't forget where it is. So my thoughts were is I wanted to do something crazy, like, you know, maybe start here and start, you know, making room so the Russian companies can somehow come through. This one would have been a great idea, except somebody took it. So we could take this, and yeah, it's a crappy city, but its sole job is to use its discount to plow through. The problem is, I think he would have rather had the water, so he can go through these zones. And you also have the problem of making revenue. You need to be able to connect to decent sized cities to make revenue, and it's not going to work.
I've had the 1945
If you're here, you can at least connect to Italy
since 1940.
and get the revenue that way. But remember, we had the situation where these two connected, and then this one was blocked off.
Just remove the books.
The other thing is Spain has a lot of mountains. I mean, does Russia really want to be in Spain? No. But we were talking about, okay, where would you start? Well, right here, you get $20 just for going here. You have a port. You're 2 away from a New York run. So you can have New York come in. Maybe do some kind of shenanigans that way. And without having a... I mean, we're really limited. We can go to Italy. Here. There are 2 of them up here we could do. Okay, that might work. Because if I started here, I can get one of my Russian companies' tokens so they can connect. Oh, that may not be a bad idea.
Okay, I have 1800 carriers.
So yeah, let's try to figure out. The only issue is that's water. But he gets a discount on mountains. I mean, look at all this. But that's water to start. So But we'll do it. I think that makes more sense than going in Spain. Although I do like that spot in Spain that I chose. So spend 10, and then F. We already put on the board. So he was player 2, and now we're at Lord Platinum. I'm still not sure I want to start another company. He's been eliminating them.
Hey Josh, can I actually have Stuttgart and Württemberg on me? I mean Batten. I need Batten.
Just one bad.
No, Stuttgart and I think I can form my thing.
He's going to eliminate MIDI,
The thing
so
is,
they're not trying to take tokens in London. So we have 4 companies eliminated now.
Click on the state. Mark, and then, yeah, mark and then click on the transfer.
MIDI really is not a good company.
You gotta click on the transfer.
Okay, now we go to player 4. We placed the C company.
Just any mountains.
We have the A company, we have the M company, and we can put one of them in here. That doesn't hurt them too bad. They like the idea of going here, but you know what? This is a fantastic idea for one of these, and he'll do it with the M company.
There's no way I can't do this.
It's going to put M right here. Now, technically, you don't get this bonus until you lay a track, but that's the very first thing they're going to do. So I'm just going to drop this,
One more.
and the track rights are $10. But what's cool about once he lays his first track, he's actually going to gain $10 or $20, but he owes 10, so I'm just going to take 10.
What did that even do?
We're just going to call it a wash. I mean, he has to lay that track. He can't do anything else. So he still has one more minor left. Now it gets to us. We're hanging on. I should probably take Mav. We placed our 2 minors. We took our spots. And yeah, we should probably. Well, let me think about this. A German company wouldn't be horrible. We have SB.
No.
We can grab another German.
You have to go through them and see.
Be up there. OU isn't horrible because you'll at least have Paris. That's right, I like BJV. The problem with starting in Germany is they're going to be very pricey. The problem with Mav is you have basically 2 companies fighting in the same areas. And they can help each other, but they're also... But we got the mountain thing, so if I plow through these mountains, both of my companies get the benefit from it. Yeah. That's a lock for Mav. Actually, it's a lock for a German company too, because if you think about it, if a German company gets down in here, they can also benefit. Mav's just cheaper. Now, if I had a minor left, here's a trick: you eliminate Mav, and then you can now start a minor there with those track rights. So that's a strategy, is you eliminate Mav, and now you have a Y tile. Because you're sitting there saying, where would I want to spend this? Well, that opens up a premium spot. So, like, he might want to do that. He may want to. I used up both of mine. I don't have anything left. and all of his are gone. So the only people with miners left, actually, I could have looked here. A and K are the only ones left. But either of those would love this Mav spot. So with me understanding that, do I want to just take Mav myself? Part of me is yes, because yes, I want to connect to Berlin, but Mav is just a cheaper company than this to operate because of the track rights. So yeah, I want Mav. Even though I also have SB. Now, I am going to go cheap though, and we're going to do a 120. And then he'll start with 100.
We're doing that. So, nope. Goodbye.
Alright, I like that move. But sorry for all the deliberation. I'm trying to play this game smarter than the last time. And also, I was very rusty because I hadn't played in 5 years, and now I have it down. So, back to player 1. He has a K company he would like to play. With that strategy in mind, I can't do the Mav thing anymore. So this track right has become a lot more difficult. Now we could do a similar strategy. We could put it here in Lemberg, but then he's going to be hosed because you get to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles. You won't even be connected to another city. And remember, he can't cross boundaries as a regional, or I'm sorry, a minor. So it's not as easy as just going straight to here and connecting, although that would be cool. So yeah, he's looking at a K. Now, what he could do is a similar strategy. Oh, he can't put a K up here. There's no track rights. So we got Italy. Neither company was eliminated. So that doesn't work. Italy and... Oh my gosh. Oh, we have one more up here. Oh, that's not very helpful either. You could go here and then... No. No. Russia's gone. Wow, his only option is here or here. And he still has to place one more. So it's become quite the battle. So yeah, the K company is going to go here so he can take a premium spot. That's the thing. I mean, those miners, there's only so many premium spots to go around. But that's a great spot for him. So what did he do? He took... So he's E, J, and K. His E is in a great spot. His J is in a weird spot, but it works. And then the K actually... I mean, if he's in France and... I mean, that sort of suits him if he can figure out how to connect. Okay, that works. I mean, you can also do this crazy thing where you connect like this. Come through here. As long as you have a token there, this is free. And then you can just all the way through. I don't know what you're going to do with it after that, but yes, there's things to do. And so that thematically works for him. I like his plan. Player 2. Everybody has been placed. He's done everything. So now he gets to eliminate something. Because he can't do anything else at this point. . POB is right here. POB, OU, KISS, and BJV are what's left. I mean, from a Russia perspective, BJV is the only one, because BJV, with them being up here, they're going to probably want to place tokens and come through. And they're also going to grab tokens here and here. So yeah, he's going to get rid of BJV's out. So we now have 5 of them out. BJV would harm Russia the most. That makes sense. Alright, so then we go to... Here, we're going to pause. Okay, I stepped away for a little bit there. For it, the Lord Platinum. And I will tell you, sometimes having a fourth company can, like, if you have too many companies, it can hurt you because you're stretched thin trying to keep them all maintained. But sometimes having too few companies hurt you because you're not making any money. But you can always buy shares of other people's companies. So I've always fascinated with the idea that you just don't start any companies, you just buy other people's shares. It's the most boring game ever, but I actually think it would work and you could actually win doing that. Okay. So what does this guy get? I mean, we've been eliminating the whole time. We are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only one more that can be eliminated. And we have a choice between OU, POB, and KISS. And so what would annoy BHB the most? DWR and DSJ. POB. So POB is out. So now all 6 companies are eliminated, so no more can be removed. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 companies remaining and 4 spots remaining. It's funny how the standard game, it actually works out perfectly. But yeah, player 3 is done. Player 4 has the A company. No intention of starting another company, so A company is definitely going to be next. We just got to figure out where. We're looking at Italy, or here. That's it. There's, oh, I guess up here. See, now how can I make it work up here? Obviously, these spots are awesome, but I mean, we could theoretically start here, because with this port, we could do just like we did in the last game. BJV can place a token here, but if you'll notice, there's not another token spot until it goes green. So in the beginning, you're making substantially, like, you could still do a run. You know, you're getting some money, and you're laying track, and you're not on the same team as DSJ, so you're not necessarily helping them as much. But you could get yourself into, heck, instead of going here, you could just go there. Actually, I think that's what we did last time. That would work. You just start here, and then you have to pay a little bit extra money to go over the C zone, plus a token there, and then you're basically making money either way. That's going to get you a lot more money than... The only thing I can think of is you start here, you get into Vienna, place a token, and then just try to do a Vienna run. You could theoretically do that. I mean, this actually might help, because if you look at A, that's very close to where the Italian companies are. So if Italy can somehow get through here, you know, and connect to your track, they could be a part of your network that you're helping build. But I don't know. I think, to be honest, I like the idea of doing A right where BJV got let go. It's that same concept. You get rid of a company and then you start right where they would have started. So yeah, we'll put A there. We have F over here. And then that means a $10 track right, which is super cheap. That's not horrible. I can think of a lot worse places. Now, all the miners have started, so that means these are out. Now it's to us. We've started both of our miners. We've started 3 companies. We could afford to start another one, but we got either a premium, like these 2 have to start. Now we could just all pass, and then that forces us to do operating rounds. I will be honest that my strategy requires us to float everything. I do worse when we have to do a forced operating round, because the forced operating round, we're not allowed to buy any more shares. We do 2 operating rounds, and we're only going to be using yellow trains, and that's it. We can't buy any green trains. We can't do any of that until all the companies float. So, how are the companies going to float? Well, we could have Spiffy Brit buy a company. They're not going to. They have 4. We could go to a 4th company, and we're only going to have $80 left over. So that means that our ability to invest in our company is going to be really low. And then they could also buy a 3rd company, which they might actually do. Because having only 2 companies is probably too little. But he is trying to do the opposite. And so the thing about keeping the $220 is he wants to invest in his own company. But he has the same problem. Until they all float, he can't buy shares of his own company either. But he's okay with doing a phase of yellows, because that'll give him more cash and let him buy more shares of his own company. But I will tell you that if you do a phase of yellow, all these companies are going to have more money, and that's just going to accelerate the move in the game. So let's think this through. The Brit really could afford to buy another one, and so can he. So I'm going to pass. I'm going to try to force them to buy. We're going to go to 1, and he's going to pass. Then we're going to go to 2, and he's going to pass. And yeah, the Brit will buy. And the Brit did get rid of Pav, didn't he? To be quite honest, Kiss is worse than Pav. So I'm going to change my mind on it. It doesn't change anybody else's position, but we're going to get rid of Kiss instead of Pav. I just need to find the 2 Pav tokens. So Pav, and then, ooh, do we go premium? I mean, we sort of have to. I don't know why it does that, but it drives me nuts. Kiss tokens come off. I never actually removed the POV tokens. I don't like being so low in money, but it'll work. It'll work. And with a $40 track right, it's going to start the game with $140. All right, and then we get to 4, and 2 companies is way too low, so he will buy the last one. OU. which is an interesting one, interesting third one to have. Now, is he going to go premium? No, he's going to go cheap and do 120. And with the $20 track rate, take $100. Off he goes. All right, so that ends the auction phase, and then we would. Oh no, actually now we can. Now the real games begin. So I have $200, for example. So I can buy shares of my company. I can go major. I can do all those types of things. And so one of the reasons why I needed money is when you go major, the token moves from the left to the right, and then you actually can buy a share. So you don't want to go major if you can't even buy a share of your company. So that's something I would like to do, and I want to go major with Lawnmower for sure. So if I switch him to major, then what's going to happen is Lawnmower would move to the $120 par, and I want to spend $120. To Lawnmower, but I get a share of it, and then Lawnmower actually moves from here to the 120 spot. Now 120 is very difficult. Did I want to do that? 120 is going to be tough. And the first train, let's flip these over. I want the more premium costs for all these. I need $225, and mind you, I have to pay $100 for the yellow train. I'm not doing that. It's too early. So I'm going to give back that $120. Too early. That's the problem with premiums. You can't hit your numbers. At least not easily. So then I'm looking at, okay, I have at least one. I have Mav. That's the one I want to go major with. So Mav will go major at, instead of $60, it'll be $75. And then I can take, holy crap, how did I forget to put SB out there? OU is the last one. Oh man, when did I grab SB? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then that was player 2. That means our SB, we grabbed Lawnmower with ours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That was not player 1. Player 1, that was player 2. Player 1, I don't know what player 1 did, but it was neither of these. What did he do? Oh, he got rid of RCP. That's right. That's right. So this is player 2, player 3, player 4, and right there. Because that's player 1 again. So we shift these down. SB belongs right there. And I believe I paid premium for SB. I did not. I paid $120 for SB. So SB is not a premium. So the thing is, I wanted Lawnmower to be a major 2. Okay, this is getting interesting. Bear with me here. Let me pause and think about it. Okay, I put some thought into this, and I am going to go major with lawnmower. So we're going to do what I said. And yes, I am going to go backwards, and I won't be able to go forward. But, so the very first round, we're going to go backwards. But the reason this works is the second round, I won't go backwards again. So I'm only going to go backwards once. And by doing what I'm doing, I'm going to be able to buy a 3 train in the first operating phase and unlock the greed. It will work. It's just it's a little painful, and I'm plowing through it quickly because getting to the green phase early is part of what makes this strategy work. All right, so I am going to take 120 and spend 120 because that is how much I want to. I could also have spent just 90, but the 120 is how this. So what's going to happen is these shares are now 10% instead of 25%. And so he's going to have significantly more of them, and I have a 30% share. So I'm actually going to get paid less, but the company will make more. And that's what's going to allow it to be able to afford the 3 train. And the reason this strategy works is the other companies that belong to the other players, they won't actually have enough money to buy that 3 train, at least not as quickly. Now, what's going to happen is they will get the money because I'm going to unlock the green phase. So all the prices of the routes are going to go up and everybody's going to just make more money. And so that's going to allow them to do better. But anyways, I'm going major. This always surprises everybody. And everybody's like, what are you doing? And I immediately kicked myself out of the go first pool. And like I said, I bought a share, and we could go around and around. Well, so let's do this in the right order. I just took my turn. He has 210 bucks, so he can also go major, and he has to. Some of these need to go major because he needs to lay 6 tracks. Or if he goes major with this one, he can connect to Berlin. Because as a major, he can cross borders. And then he can connect to maybe this Y city. He can do more as a major than as not a major. So if he's not a major, he's going to lay 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I mean, he has to connect to like these crappy cities, and that's the best he's going to be able to do. MKV is, like all of these actually, in my opinion, they should all go major. Every Russian. Because Lizard here has a similar problem. I'm just realizing I didn't take all the tiles. Same problem with Lizard. They gotta get all the way up to here, which is great. But then now what? They gotta at least do this and this, but this is a crappy income. So, you know, they want to at least connect one red zone with another red zone. It's not easy if you're only laying, like, now we're going to get to lay twice, because the first time nobody makes any money. And if you don't go major, you don't go backwards on the stock track. So that's the other, I think that's what scares people is, you know, by staying down in the regional level, they don't go backwards. But if you look at Russia, I believe you have to go major. Now the other problem is you have MSP here. MSP only gets 3 track points. And, you know, Jay here might help, you know, by going this way to connect. But MSP needs to get all the way down to Moscow. And again, they can't do that unless they have 6 track points. So, like, from my perspective, there just needs to be majors all across the board. Now, that is one of the reasons why he went cheap on all of them, and now he can afford to do one. So let's start with Lizard is going to go major. Now remember, these are all the cheaper ones. So he's at 75, and then Lizard would go here, like so. And he can pay 60 or he can pay 75. He almost doesn't. So we got 4 of them that we want to go major with. MKV could probably get away with not going major. But at 60 each, 6 times 3 is 180. 75 would be 150, and then one of them's not going to get the full 75. He can maybe pay 60 for. He'll pay 60 for one, and so he'll be able to take 3 of them and buy shares with. So maybe MKV doesn't go major. But anyways, we're doing Lizard here. So we're going to spend the 75. Now, the thing that sucks is 75 is not a lot of money for the company when you're on the poor like this. And I forgot, I got to flip these over when you go major. Also, everybody should have a president's share, so we should do that to make sure we're reflecting what they actually own. And then I got one more thing. This is where he's hiding all the major stuff. So Lizard just went major, for example. So if I do this, this is actually all the shares that we're missing. And so I add those in, and that should be exactly. Oh no, but hold on. What's going on here? That's 6. There's 2. Why aren't they? They're not combining. Oh no. What did he do? Those should be. There's some property on this, and I don't know what the property is that's preventing it from. Drag, auto raise, sticky. Snap grid. So what property does this one have? Here's what's crazy. This will merge in with that just fine. But that won't. Okay, so I'm putting them back in. We're not playing that game. So I'm gonna do the old game. Clone 2, 4, 6. And I just made it 8. And so he's just going to get one of those shares. And then that has 7. Yeah, I don't know what physically was causing that to break, but I'm not going to waste any more time with it. So I'm going to put the Mavs over here because I got 2 black companies. And then with the lawnmower, I got the similar problem. So we're at 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope. 2, 3, and 6. Oh, I need 7. That's right, this one needed 8. Yeah. Okay, we can fix everything else, but as we go. So yes, Lizard just got an infused amount of money, and he's on the 75 track. Is he going to be able to make that 75 back? It's going to be tough, but the laying the 6 track tiles is what's going to help him. He's going to make a lot less money though for the player. And the G company is going to need some of his money because it needs to lay track and get out of the water zone. So there's some stuff there, and then I think F company also needs money. See, so he's not going to be able to afford to boost everybody. That's a very interesting dilemma. I think MSP will be okay. I don't need to upgrade him. WW is, I mean, we could get away with not upgrading him, but man, oh man, it's not going to be a very big money maker in the beginning if I don't. But I do need money. I got to think about him more. I want to play him optimally, but I still, from my perspective, I would still just upgrade everything. But I did commit to, I need some private money to get the miners going. Okay, so after he did his thing, we come here, no going major, but those shares are $90 each. It's going to spend 90. And let's grab an SFAI. And all right. So remember, we're going clockwise now. We're not doing this card nonsense anymore. Right, he's pretty much going to pass now. This guy has no money at all. Could go major with somebody, but will not. And can't buy any shares, so he's done. Back to us. I'm sorry, now we got the Brit. Now this is where it gets tough. I actually think the Brit should go major. Oh crap, the cards did still remain in effect. 2, 3. We were the 5th player, so we should not have gone major yet. My apologies. Why am I being such a goober? The very first stock round does stay with this mojo. So we are going to go major. I'm not going to have to reverse anything, but this is just not... Same with him. Well, he passed. He went major, so this one is the first one to come out. Then it goes to player 3, and yes, GWR is going major. See, the problem is, I can go major with him, but I don't have money to infuse him. That's the issue. Yeah, yeah, we're fine. We're going to stay out here because he's not going major and we're the only one left. So, this is permanent pass, permanent pass, permanent pass. It's just the two of us. So it's whichever one goes last. He does go before us. So during his second go here, he could go major again and spend another 75. He would still have enough to bail out these two if he spends 75 more. And he has to. So that guy went major. This one has to go major as well. So clone 4, 6, 8. And this is flipping over. He's going to grab a share. Spend 75. They get 75. And WW is going to go out. We're going to have a pile of doom here. But that's okay. Actually, we're going to have two piles of dooms, right? Because everything parred nobody parred in the middle. That's me. That's my playstyle. It's funny how it goes through and reflects on everybody. But okay, so he went. Now it's to us, and we are going to go major with one of these two. I think I'm going to choose Mav. So Mav is going to go major. And got a clone 2, 4, 6, 8. We're going to get one of those shares. Spend 75. He's going to get 75. And he's also going to come out on the board. But that's it. The Russian player is not going to do it again, and neither am I. So I was the 5th player. So priority deal is going to go to him. Clockwise order. And then from here on out, we don't use those cards. So my apologies. So yes, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 majors. And that's largely because that's how I like to play. I don't even know in my gaming group if anybody else would have bothered. Now, if we start getting stacks of doom, then we can use this, because as this starts to diminish, we can start using it. Until stocks start going here, we can even use this to help us. There's things we can do. Right now, all these tokens that you see here, and we can actually move these in, because nobody parred any other value. That's it. We just parred there, and Mav parred up, and then the rest of these are down here. I definitely don't want to do that. So they're all huddled in there. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. I am going to reserve the right to retcon this decision to go major. The big one was he needed to buy a share, and he did. By him taking that third company, he reduced the amount of shares he could buy. And some of the strategy was maybe force a yellow phase to go, and we just operate with our yellow trains, because he wants to buy as many of these shares as he can. And by buying that third company, he restricted it and is unable to. And I think I might have heard his strategy a little bit in doing so. But let's see how it plays out. Alright, and so we will go to operating round 1 in the next video. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.